Your body rests beside me like a quiet instrument, tuned but untouched, every line humming with the promise of melodies that only appear when the lights fall softer than our doubts. I watch the slow expansion of your ribs beneath the fabric, each breath a measured prelude, a patient counting in before the song begins. The air tastes of citrus peel and warm vinyl, the faint crackle of some distant memory spinning just out of earshot. My fingers hover inches above your wrist, feeling the ghost of your pulse without quite crossing the distance, and that restraint vibrates louder than any shout. You open your eyes and the room modulates, shifting key shadows lengthening into elegant chords across your hips, your throat, the curve of your shoulder. Every small movement becomes a phrase, a fragment of chorus, the tilt of your chin, an invitation to improvise my devotion and touch and silence. When you finally reach for my hand, the contact rings like a bell underwater, deep and muffled yet impossibly clear. Our hearts sink to a shared tempo, unhurried and deliberate, as if the universe has decided to count only the beats we spend listening to each other breathe. In that slow rhythm, fear has no measure, no place to land, dissolving between us like smoke, leaving only scent, only warmth. Your body, this quiet instrument, begins to sing without sound, and my soul answers low and trembling. Your name rests on my tongue like a cluster of sleeping fireflies, dim but warm, waiting for the slightest spark of courage to burst into bright dancing confession. The night outside the window is heavy and velvet thick, stitched with distant car lights that move like slow comets along the avenue. Inside, everything is softer, edges blurred by the low amber glow of the lamp and the quiet patience in your eyes. You speak about nothing and everything, small stories that tumble over each other, and each laugh you release floats across the room, landing on my skin like delicate wings. With every passing minute, the letters of your name press harder against my teeth, wanting to fly high free, to illuminate the air between us. sweetness of possibility. Then you move closer, your knee brushing mine, and suddenly the distance shrinks to a single breathless beat. In the narrow space, the fireflies awaken, flooding my mouth with light, turning shy syllables into shimmering honest sound. As your hand finds the back of my neck, steady and sure, every bright fragment of feeling pours out. Finally free to burn. The shape of your silence curves gently between us, neither wall nor distance, but a soft breathing space where our unspoken desires can stretch their limbs and finally stand upright. Candlelight flickers along your cheekbones, sketching faint constellations that shift each time your thoughts change direction. I watch your lips part, then close again, the almost words drifting away like smoke through a half-open window. In that quiet hesitation, my heartbeat grows louder, stepping into the spotlight like a nervous soloist, unsure where to begin. You rest your chin on your knee, eyes turn slightly upward, listening not to me but to some inner orchestra only you can hear. The room leans in around us, floorboards, curtains, even the tired clock on the wall holding its breath for your next move. When you finally look at me, the silence brightens, no longer empty but filled with unseen color, like a photograph developing in warm liquid. I feel every secret I have hidden start humming under my skin, drawn to the magnetic field of your gaze. Words seem suddenly clumsy, dull instruments unfit for this intricate music. So instead I shift closer, letting my shoulder find yours, letting my breath fall into harmony with your slow rhythm. In that simple contact, your silence unfolds not as absence but as the most generous kind of answer. Your skin lies against mine, like a page that has never been written on, smooth and expectant, yet faintly trembling with the ghosts of stories waiting to be born. The night soft electric drone that blurs the edges of furniture, ceiling thoughts, until only your warmth stays in focus. I trace slow circles along your arm, and each pass feels like teaching a new alphabet to the quiet beneath your flesh. You exhale, and the breath leaves your chest in shimmering waves, turning the air above us into a slow motion aurora of warmth and possibility. Somewhere in that moving glow, fear dissolves, slipping soundlessly through the floorboards. My lips hover near your shoulder, not yet touching, savoring the charged distance where imagination and memory overlap. Your fingers tighten around mine, and our joined hands become a small bright anchor floating on an unseen tide. Together we drift through a silence that listens back, tender and attentive, as if the room itself is waiting for our hearts to choose their next tempo. When sleep finally begins to soften your gaze, your skin glows with a new kind of light, as though it has learned during this quiet communion how to dream in color. In that fragile transition between waking ache and restful surrender, you become a gentle spark, rewriting the way my soul believes in dawn. The dark around us tastes faintly of honey, thick and slow, clinging to every breath we share, as if the night itself refuses to let our words fall away. Your voice moves carefully through the shadows, a low amber ribbon wrapping around my doubts, pulling them loose stitch by stitch. Each syllable lingers on my skin, tiny warm fingerprints glowing long after the sentence has dissolved in this dim cocoon. The world outside recedes to a dull distant drum, like a train moving through rain miles. From here you tilt your head, and the small gesture sends a cascade of golden echoes tumbling through my chest, lighting up rooms I had locked for years. Desire arrives unannounced, not as a storm, but as a slow, sweet flood creeping under doorways, rising gently around our ankles. We do not rush to name it, instead we let it carry us, weightless and deliberate along the current of your unguarded gaze. When you brush a strand of hair behind my ear, the touch rings like a struck glass, clear and fragile, spreading ripples of heat down my spine. The dark vibrates with unplayed notes and unfinished phrases, and you, luminous and calm, turn every quiet second into a soft unfolding chorus. Where your pulse will rise before your hands arriving, like a secret tide that knows the language of every unspoken wish. I tuck beneath my ribs tonight. The lamps burn low and honey color pouring slow light over the angles of your jaw, your wrist, the delicate map of veins beneath your skin. You laugh softly at something small. And the sound rings through me like a wind chimes underwater, blurred yet achingly precise. Each step you take across the room bends gravity, drawing my attention in quiet spirals until nothing exists outside the geography of your nearness. When you finally touch my spine, just above the place where uncertainty used to live, the contact feels like a chord resolving after years of patient suspension. My thoughts scatter into bright fragments of rhythm and color, incapable of forming anything but your name repeated in new arrangements. We move closer, slowly the distance between us shrinking like a measured rest breathing in the color blue, slow and luminous, pulling along the edges of the bed like a quiet tide, waiting to touch everything we have not yet dared to name. Your eyes catch the light and scatter it into fragments, tiny glassy notes that land on my lips, my collarbones, the tender hollow where unease used to sleep. Every inhale tastes like cool metal and rain-soaked jasmine, a strange sweetness that makes my thoughts blur at the edges, surrendering to the softened silhouettes of your hands. The curtains sway, sketching lazy rhythms on the wall, and the city hum outside falls into a distant, indifferent groove. Ooh. a small crescent of ink on your shoulder, a careless fingerprint from the pen you pressed against your mouth, while searching for the right word to describe this electric hush between us. The mark glows indigo against your skin, like a secret comet resting after a long orbit. And every time my eyes return to it, another line of music blooms inside my chest. You laugh softly when I trace its outline, saying it is nothing but the way your breath catches mid-sentence, tells a truer story in that fragile pause. Every unspoken desire opens like a flower at midnight, petals steeped in slow blue light. The air thickens with unhurried rhythm, bass notes humming in the floorboards, while a distant siren outside bends into harmony with your quiet sighs. I watch your lashes flutter, a syncopated metronome, keeping time with the tremor in my hands. And suddenly the room feels tuned to some secret key we invented together. Your shoulder becomes a page I am afraid to smudge, a stanza of living warmth where my longing can finally autograph its name. The ink stain darkens as the lamplight shifts, transforming again into a small moon, steering the tides that rise and curl beneath my ribs. When you lean closer, smelling faintly of paper, jasmine and storm clouds, inspiration and hate collide, spilling over the edges of restraint. In that gentle overflow, I understand that every mark you leave on this night will rewrite me. Your hands move slowly through the dim air, small satellites circling my waiting skin, drawing gravitational lines that rearrange every distant star inside my body. Each touch is a delay sunrise, a patient flare, sliding over quiet oceans, revealing hidden coastlines of fear, hope and ripened longing. You hum under your breath, a half-remembered melody from some forgotten record. And the notes wander lazily through the room, curling around my thoughts like incense. The world outside dissolves into a soft, irrelevant murmur, while our shadows stretch and fold, dancing along the wall in improvised constellations. My restless syncopation for the unhurried sway of tides, obedient to the moonlight glimmering in your eyes when you pause, hovering just above my pulse. Silence swells like a held chord, bright with possibility, vibrating between what we want and what we finally dare to take. Your fingertips write gentle questions across my shoulders, and my breath spills the answer in broken rhythms, half prayer, half confession. You move again and the orbit tightens, intimacy bending distance into nothing, turning separate stories into a single glowing outline. Shifting constellation, naming what words have always been too clumsy to hold inside this suspended moment. You are the quiet gravity guiding every note, every tremor until desire and inspiration become the same bright circling. City shadows and the liquid brush strokes across my hunger, and every quiet breath you exhale paints restless constellations beneath my shaking skin. Your fingers trace invisible staves along my shoulders, sketching melodies that bloom like smoke, and the room bends softly, slower than a ticking clock, as if time itself wants to listen. Silhouettes of our doubts loosen, falling to the floor like forgotten garments, while the lamplight melts into amber halos around your mouth, your eyelids, the trembling hollow of your throat when you whisper the vows arrive, warm and unhurried, small comets dissolving in my chest, pulling hidden tides to the surface, making honest waves out of secret thoughts. Desire becomes a low blue chords suspended in the air, half resolved, shining between us like wet ink that refuses to dry. Every sigh drips with unfinished phrases, inviting my heart to improvise, to answer without language, only rhythm, only breath, only the slow turning of your gaze. You tilt your head and the silence modulates, shifting from minor doubt to tender daring, and our pulses find a shared tempo, deep and patient in this velvet afterglow. You are both canvas and composer, guiding my hands to discover no every fragile second glows like the last bright amber on the tongue of a fading